stress, I'm sure you're feeling it. Business is hard. And now more than ever, you need to have a plan to help your business not just survive, but thrive. And it can happen as simply by thinking with the end in mind. I'm Marcia Reiner. I'm a business growth strategist, and I've helped tons of small business owners to establish and implement a tangible plan that guarantees increased profitability, guides your growth, and plans for your future exit. Because a business worth selling is also a business worth owning. And I want to share strategies that I've earned and learned with you on today's Profit with a Plan podcast. But hey, before we get started, I have something to share with you. I've put together an insightful Think Outside the Box masterclass. This 15-minute training has been specifically designed to help you learn how to get your business sale ready, even if you aren't thinking about selling it yet. Why now? Join me and find out all the benefits that come with having a sale-ready business. Register for free at scale2sell.biz. All right, I'm excited to have my new friend on with me today as a guest. This is Max Muir, and he's an entrepreneur and co-founder of Establish, which is a PR and authority agency for companies that need to launch their brand and online presence. His primary expertise has been helping 7 to 9 figure businesses scale through disruptive strategies around digital media, branding, and sales. So Max is super cool. He's doing some creative stuff for business owners today. And I was really excited to bring you on, Max. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. What an intro as well, man. You got it down, dialed
in. It's helpful when it's delivered the best way, right?
Right.
All right, Max. So first of all, how in the world did you get into PR and as an agency?
Yeah, I feel like we kind of stumbled upon it, to be honest. You know, we first started. Yeah, right. It's always the best when it happens that way. But we initially started in the direct response side of marketing. So we were focused on lead generation for mainly blue collar companies. So like solar energy, roofers. We dabbled into real estate a little bit. And basically we're running people's Facebook ads, Instagram ads, helping them with LinkedIn outreach and all of that, just basically helping them get more conversations. And we did it for about a year and it went well. You know, people were getting conversations, they're getting sales, but there was this like consistent trend that, you know, where people were missing deals because there's this lack of trust. You know, people were not converting at as high of a level because they were like, yeah, well, although this sounds great, I'm going to go with this company over here because I know them, you know, or I've worked with them before, or they have a better track record. And so obviously that's an issue. And it was kind of synchronistic timing where our company got featured in the media. We got featured in Yahoo and AP News for a couple of articles. And yeah, it was awesome. We're like, well, we made it, you know, and it was kind of just like an ego boost at first, but we're just like, we should probably tell people about this, you know? And so we shared it on the social platforms and blasted it out to our clients. And they're like, whoa, this is amazing. Like, how can I get this done for us? And we had this connection now established at Yahoo, at AP News, a couple of these other sites. And basically we just help some of our clients tell their story in some of these articles. And we're just testing it. We're like, you know, maybe this will like help their conversion on their ads. And like, you know, the test worked and people were like pretty consistently getting 10, 15% higher conversions on conversations, on lead flow. And we're like, maybe this is what we focus on, because so many companies just focus on marketing and getting sales, but they forget about how important trust and like looking unique and looking incredible really is to the sales process. So
I think that's the foundation. That's really the foundation, because you know, we've all heard that know, like, and trust somebody, but how do you gain that trust if they're just meeting you?
Right.
So what happens is we probably go troll them on social media, and you look at their website and you look at what their LinkedIn, and you look at what Google says, but that's only something that you hope looks good, right? What you do is you help people really look good when somebody goes out and trolls you.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, like you can look awesome on LinkedIn. You can be, buttoned up, have a good, headshot and like make all these, it's like a lot of it is self-proclaimed, like, hey, we're the best in the industry. We do this better than anybody else. And we think that like those words and those pictures and those images are going to be enough. But really what it is, it's that third party validation from, another source, like basically endorsing you, saying, hey, like they actually are as great as they say they are. Like imagine if Forbes said that your company was like the best in the clothing space, people would probably trust you versus you just saying, hey, we're the best, most comfortable t-shirt you've ever worn. It has a different effect.
A way different effect that, like you said, elevates your sales easily, because you've had that third party recommendation. So I love it. What kind of client would want a third party recommendation, or what kind of business owner would want a third party recommendation?
I mean, I don't want to say any business, but I mean any business. Like, I've seen athletes that need this because they're trying to, get a contract with a big team, or like their favorite team that they've always wanted to get on since like they were 12, and we've done help, athletes build their brand and then get them in the door with big teams during a draft. And then there's the other end of it where, you're a tech company, you have a software, and, you're trying to raise funding, and investors are like, why the heck should I invest in you if like, this is just like, it seems like a cool idea, but is it valid? So you need to look into them too, so it's going to be for everybody, whether you're a service, whether you're a product, whether you're an individual brand that's trying to create more opportunity for yourself. It's all about creating opportunity, and, you got to figure out how to stand out we're in a world now where like there's so many people and businesses in every single industry. And if you don't have like that 1, 2, 3% difference, then you just look like everybody else. And you have to have that factor.
Lost in a sea of commonality, I think is what it is. It is really hard to stand out from the competition, and specifically because everybody's got one of these things now. And, the speed of the internet to be able to search somebody or get an idea for something, or should I validate that purchase? It's so important that you have that visibility online. And, not only are they going to type in your website or go to LinkedIn, they're going to search for your name, or they're going to search for the name of the company, or better yet, or worse yet, they're going to search for your product, your offering. And if you're not found, you're not found.
Right.
And I think that's the hardest thing. And there's so much competition in the SEO space or the social noise that we need to have another angle. And I love this idea of getting in magazines and newspapers and getting articles done. But come on, Max, it's got to be hard to do that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy, right? I mean, a lot of these publications and journalists and, podcast hosts, like yourself, I mean, they don't want to just work with any company, any individual, so like, yeah, there's a few factors that come into it. I mean, one, like you actually do need to have a valid, good product, company, service, specialty expertise, right? And you also need to have the right relationships. And the relationship part is the hard part, because you're building your business, you're trying to grow your sales, you're trying to make your product, your service better, trying to grow a team. The last thing that you want to do typically is spending like hours online trying to find like who would actually want to talk about you. And so that's where it becomes challenging. It's like that extra task that you need to get done, but you're like, man, I don't have the time for it. So, that's where, like, if you can at least dedicate some time to it, or you can like, find someone like myself or whoever it is to help you get in the door. I mean, that one relationship could serve you for years and open up more and more doors after that.
Ooh, I love that. I can imagine that, I get an article, in a magazine, and then I become the expert, and then that magazine writer has another story on my business expertise that they reach out to me to come in and
Oh, yeah.
add to it, so add some color to it. That seems like you're right. The domino effect in opening up the doors. But not all of us know how to write really well, or put an article together that would really showcase our business. How do we do that? What do we need to say when we're promoting ourselves to, say we do have an in at Forbes or USA Today, and I know a writer over there? How would I write an article that they would want to publish?
Sure. There are a couple of different factors you have to consider when it comes to just like building your brand in general and in the approach that you're taking. So I will say, and this is just like some free advice. If like people
Bring it
don't want to
on.
work with a PR and like branding company, they just want to go do it themselves, that's totally fine. Typically what you need to do is you need to come to these publications, these journalists, with like something that really stands out, something that's really unique as a story. For example, I was able to get a client into Inman, which is a massive like real estate publication, pretty much only because he had this record-breaking sale in the Panhandle over in Florida. It was like I think a $26 million luxury home sale that
Nice.
like the biggest sale they'd seen prior was I think like 15. And so like he had journalists like coming at him, like they wanted the article so badly because these publications are always looking for new content, but they don't really care to have the same like entrepreneurial story. You dropped out of college, now you built a company, now you're doing this. Like they don't care about that really anymore. So what are you doing that's really unique, that's truly different, that is like has this wow factor to it? So if you're going to pitch yourself, you have to like think about it that way. Or maybe they also love I found like a lot of these tech publications, they love big fundraisers that happen. Like, oh, this company raised 30 million or like 10 million. That speaks volumes too. So, but outside of that, I mean, it really comes down to understanding like why would you even want to, get your company out there? What is the point of the messaging that you want to get into the world? Is it because you're having trouble with sales and you're getting like this one objection every single time? Like, why would I work with you guys over this company? Or, why is your product better than this company over here? Maybe maybe the problem is sales objections, and you need to get a bunch of articles written about you that talk about why that one thing that you keep getting bothered about, is your biggest strength. Or maybe you're trying to get new talent in the door, like new employees, and people don't want to work for you because when they Google you, they can't find anything. They're like, is this company even real? So maybe you need to start getting content out there so you can attract new talent. Or once again, if you're trying to raise capital, then you need to talk about why your company is so unique, so innovative, why it's going to be the next best thing. It's going to be the next Apple. Or if you're preparing for an exit, same kind of thing. Companies want to know, or investors want to know, firms want to know, like, what is that like factor that makes you the 1%, that makes you so different, that makes you worth, the 10x multiple, right? Why would they pay that? So
wow. Love it.
there's
Love it.
a lot of factors that go into it.
There are a lot of things going in it. And I went to a course a long time ago where this gal said, oh, you can use national holidays or social holidays to ride on a coattail. Oh, it's Father's Day coming up, and my father led me to do blah, 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 or my father was the original owner and now daughter takes over, or some sort of story like that to get in there. But that's really hard and super timely. And
Sure.
It's like you got to have all the planets aligned and, stacked up on top of each other to
Right.
get that kind of chance. So for most of us, I would think we may feel like we want to be that 1%, but we might not be that 1%, but we'd love to strive. So is it possible for us everyday people that are running our business, or maybe we have a unique process or a unique concept, but we're not the top dogs? So would they even want to publish a story about us?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have to all think about it this way is, and I think as entrepreneurs, we get caught in this like mental trap of thinking like, oh, this company over here did 10, 20, 30 million, they did a billion. They must be like crazy, special, unique. Like there's no way I'm ever going to do that. But we always have to remember like they are also humans. They also have the same 24 hours in a day. And they once started at like 6, 7 figures in their company. And so yeah, of course, anybody can do it because everybody starts at the same place. It's just about really, I think, once again, finding the right relationship and finding someone that believes in you and sees your mission and your vision the same way that you see it. And then once you get someone that's on your, on your side, then that's kind of all you need. And so once again, if someone were to work with us, like just for example, we've done all the work already of building the relationship. So we have those 150 different relationships with publications, with journalists. We have the professional writing team that, went to school for writing, and they can like take,
thank goodness, because
5 bullet points
me.
and turn it into right. Me neither. Yeah. But they can take those 5 bullet points and turn it into a novel. Right. So you get in touch with like folks like us, or even just someone else that's similar, and like, they have the connections, they have the skill sets, they can hear your story, resonate, and then create like this beautiful tale, this beautiful story, this like, they can basically put your vision into words and get it in the biggest publications where everybody can see it and admire it and be excited by it, right?
And as we talked about in the beginning, super duper credibility, because then you can say, well, hey, Mr. Prospect or client, here's what I do, here's what I'm offering. Why don't you check out this article that ABC wrote about me? It might give you some more insights as to what I do, or you send it to them in a follow-up email. I think that's huge. It's huge,
Yeah.
huge benefits. But I just kept going back thinking, well, who would want to know about little old me? But you just mentioned, there's publications for everything, whether you are an early learning product and you're writing a story there's all those journals and magazines and writers and shows on that. But then if you're a financial advisor, everybody wants you on the show when the market's crashing or
right.
or a stock is releasing. So I mean, there's
Totally.
hundreds and thousands of publications out there that would fit anybody.
Yeah, and the thing is too, right? I mean, think about like some of the biggest brands, some of the biggest influencers, whether it be on social media or even like actors. Why is it that like they are so big? Is because they like relate and resonate with so many people. And like that's kind of what these publications are looking for. Is they're not looking for like the biggest companies and stories that are like really out of touch. They actually want to work with companies that are just sort of starting and figuring it out, because that's relatable, but they're going to talk about those companies, those individuals that are maybe doing it just like a little better. Maybe they're leading the pack, and but they're in a very similar stage, and so you still relate to them. So it's never out of reach, right? It's never out of touch.
I love it. So you could make me a star by having an article written, and then I could use that as a leverage or tool in my business to grow it and make myself, step up the competition because I've had a professional article written about me. All right. Exactly. So how often does someone want to have PR? And public PR is public relations. Okay, we don't use the full built out word anymore because we live in a world of acronyms. But that's public right. Relations is somebody that goes out and talks about you and promotes you. It's an arm of your marketing. It's an arm of your business. So how often should this be done?
Yeah. So, well, first off, I think sometimes people get really caught up in like just thinking about it with a very micro lens of like why do articles matter? Why should I they get caught up in like all the technicalities of like, well, how many leads am I going to get from this article? Like what publication am I going to get into? How many clicks is it going to get? You know, you need to totally separate yourself from that kind of thinking, because that's like, you know, once again, there's direct response marketing, which is like you're running ads, you know, you're trying to get leads, and then there's branding, and branding is what's going to attract people to you. And so, if you want to
I
build
think
a
one
really,
thing is, if you're focusing on clicking today, you're focusing on today's revenue. But if you're like
right,
what I think is that if you're planning with the end in mind, you know, and you're focusing on building a business that you can sell, you can also build great revenue from that because you built a strong company. So I'm thinking in that mindset, if you're focusing on, I mean, an article that can last forever versus an ad or a brief marketing or a brief post that you do,
right.
that's today, and the other one's forever.
That's a great, yeah, that's a great way to put it. Yeah, it's like, yeah, money today or like long-term value, because I mean, I kind of look at businesses like the same way that someone as a real estate investor would look at a home. And it's like, okay, you go buy a junky home, or maybe you start with dirt and you're literally building a property. And what's the point of an investor buying or building that property? Well, it's to build it into something that's amazing, that's beautiful, that people want to live in, that they want to use for work, they want to use for business. So that later, you know, maybe they bought it initially for 300K, and then later they want to sell it for 3 million. So
Resale value.
yeah, how is that, like, the only way for that house to increase in value is, you know, to like make it like as much of an asset and make it as valuable as humanly possible, like make it look as great inside as you can, put it in a great location, right? You're adding all these features to it, you know, with the long-term thought in mind. And so with your business, it's got to be the same thing. You can't just think about, okay, who's going to rent my house today? It's got to be like, you know, who's going to buy it later, you know? And
Exactly.
right. So PR is something that's going to make your business, and just not even PR, just not only PR, but building your brand in general is going to make your company way more valuable. Because yeah, if you have a brand that people are attracted to, and it's not just about you and your face, because that's a big problem that, as you know, business owners
Yep.
face, is like people only work with them because of like them, you know, of that one entrepreneur versus the company itself. And so you want to continually just make the company overall attractive, you know, and anybody can
100%.
come in it. Yeah.
You know, that is a huge problem with us in the growing micro business, you know, trying to get above that 1 million, 2 million, 3 million phase, is that we are the business. So if
Right.
we can strengthen the roof over our head and the walls around us as the company, then yeah, it's even more valuable as a company later on. And I love the idea that you know, having that third party validate what you're doing and give you kudos and comments, and the fact that that could just multiply into other opportunities as well as business. I think it's an amazing tool that we should all have. i could
Absolutely.
imagine I could imagine you know, a chiropractor saying, oh, I just helped a kid with this problem, you know, and it's something that you didn't think a chiropractor could do, and now the chiropractor's known as the expert for this kid and this problem. You know,
Right.
duh, why aren't we all doing this?
Yeah.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
like, no, yeah, nobody knows about these awesome wins unless you're telling people about it. Like, people are always going to make decisions based off of their perception
Mm,
of what reality is. And so if, like, once again, you could be amazing at what you do, you could be better than this company that's been on for 20 years, and you know, maybe they are on
you're the
Shark
best
Tank
kept
and they have all
secret.
this. Yeah, but exactly, nobody knows about it, nobody knows about it. So
Mm,
and then to come back to your question about how much somebody should really be doing this, I mean,
yeah.
it's consistency, right? I mean, it's
Mm,
something done positive, or something positive done consistently is going to give you the best long-term result. And so it's not just about like doing one article or doing one podcast or doing one post
right.
on social media that's going to change everything for you. It's monthly, you know, getting placed in publications, telling your story. It's daily, you know, posting on social platforms and like making people, you know, aware of what you're doing, you know. It's weekly, just like being active and having conversations. I mean, there's so many ways to build your brand, whether it's going to events and talking to people, whether it's getting on podcasts, talking to someone like yourself, whether it's getting articles done. I mean,
you got to do it all.
Platforms. Yeah.
And you got to do it all. What is that? The old story, it takes someone 7 to 10 times to see you to make a decision, or to kind of a click in their head. Oh, there's Marcia. Oh, there's Max. Okay, I see them now. Or that craziness of, when you start looking for a new car, right? And you want a blue whatever. And now all of a sudden, all you see are blue, Volkswagens, every time you turn a corner. It's that you have to shift that mindset in your potential customers' mind. And I think that's only done by consistency, as you said, in many different platforms. And what you're talking about is primarily the one platform. Do you guys still do, social posts and all that kind of stuff, or do you only do the ads now? Sorry.
Yeah, for us, I mean, like, at least, like, of course, like our service, like as a company, we primarily focus on the PR side of it. So the articles, the podcast placements, the brand strategy behind it all, that's kind of our focus. But I mean, of course, every marketer can do everything, right? So I mean, we have the skills to do the other stuff if somebody needs, but that's the branding aspect of it is something that so many businesses just forget about that, and they for some reason are still like struggling to see value in it, just because I think that the problem is, right, is we're very instant gratification oriented, and of course that's becoming more and more.
Heck yeah. I want it yesterday.
Yeah, right.
The Amazon couple hour delivery. Remember when that came out? It's like, oh, you mean I can get it by this afternoon? Click. I mean, I'm not even going to shop for it because I can get it this afternoon. We are definitely instant gratification.
Yeah, instant gratification. We need to like grab people's attention very quickly. Everything is very quick, but there's still going to be the long-term aspect of your business, your brands, your company that you have to think about. Like, although yes, today you need to worry about getting those urgent sales to keep, like, sales it's still the number one most important aspect of a business, I believe, because like a place I think a lot of companies get stuck on is like, we need to perfect our product, perfect our service, perfect our website before we can even like start. And I'm like, dude, this is bad, maybe bad of me to say, but like my first company, I didn't have a site, I didn't have an LLC, I didn't have like a connection. I remember a couple of sales before I even knew how to
do a product.
And I figured it out afterwards, So
well, I think sales is the result of everything else you're doing in the company.
Yeah, it is.
Right? So this is just one more important piece to drive those sales that create the revenue and give you business owners the lifestyle that you dreamed of when you started your business, right? You didn't dream of working 14 hours a day, 6 days a week. You dreamed of having Friday afternoons off and going to Bobby's baseball game. Well, you can't do that until you have all the parts that are running for you and moving for you, and you can't do it alone.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I'll say, sales is it's one key factor in a business that's going to help you have that freedom, and like step away. If you can have a team that's consistently selling your service, your product every single day, and like they're fired up about it, and like you have a back end team that is able to, make all your customers super happy, then like that's when you can start kind of stepping out. And like that's where PR is, or branding in general is so important, because if your internal team, your sales guys, your back end team is really excited about you as a company because of like all the hype that's happening and like this kind of like, oh, we're going viral effect, then their belief level is going to rise a ton, and their skills in sales is going to increase as well. Like we've seen it on our side. Like we had 5-6 articles come out in a month, like a couple months ago, and man, they were fired up. It was great.
Well, yeah. And it's easier to make the close because you've already busted that barrier of who you are.
Absolutely.
You don't have to come in and start with the education. Oh, hi, I'm Marcia Reiner. I'm a business growth strategist, and I help clients to blah, 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 blah. You don't have to do that because they already know you.
Totally.
They've heard about you. And I think that that's the piece that really, truly increases up levels the game, because you've got these people talking about you or writing articles about you, and the prospective client sees that, and you've already busted through that barrier, like you said in the beginning, that know, like, and trust, that trust is already starting. So it makes it easier for your sales team to go in and hit it out of the park.
That's it. That's it.
Sounds like a winner.
So I think what we're saying here is people just need to get featured. They need to like start working on this, you know?
Yeah.
Definitely.
I love it. I love it, Max. All right. This has been fantastic. You've shared really good ideas. You've created some possibilities for people who didn't think it was possible before. And I think it's great. So where can listeners find out more about you and how maybe they can get some great articles written?
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple different ways. One, if people just want to Google establish PR, they can. That way you can not only find us, but you can also see the power of PR, because you'll see a whole page of articles on us. So that's one way. And then through the Established PR website, you can actually apply to work with us. And then if you want to reach out to me directly, feel free. On Instagram, I'll have Marcia drop it. It's at the only Max Muir.
Nice.
Once again, I'll have to spell it for you. But yeah, would love to connect with anybody that wants to chat and help you guys out.
I love it. I love it. And it's so important, as we've been discussing all day, to really up-level that game and give you that visibility that you can't always get on your own. So I love it. Love it.
Definitely.
All right, listeners, I hope you found an idea or two that will help you, that you can put into your business, that will help you be more profitable. I know PR is like really cool about it, and I'm super excited to have Max do some articles for me. So really excited about this. And I think you should be too, because what a great way to get that visibility that you can only get in this lane. So cool.
Absolutely.
All right. Now more than ever, don't forget, it's important to build your business like you want to sell it. Don't forget to register for my new free 15-minute training on how to get your business sale ready, even if you aren't thinking of selling it yet. There are tons of benefits to having a sale-ready business, like more freedom, more money, and an easier to run business. Not to mention that you have an asset you can sell someday in the future. So go register for free at scale2sell.biz. You don't want to miss this class. And as always, we would love to hear your questions and feedbacks. Share with us an article you had published, or if you want to have something published, what do you think the angle would be? Put it in the comments and let us know, and Max and I will comment on your comments. And don't forget to subscribe to today's show. And you can always catch Profit with Plan on any of your favorite podcast players. And we're looking forward to more great profitable information on next week's show. So until then, make your plans and profit with them. Thanks so much, Matt.